Well, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. We are excited that you joined us for Co-working Live here with Red Worldwide. And today is Saturday, and this is our Smarter Start Boot Camp. We are excited to bring you a wonderful boot camp today episode because we know that all of us have been working towards some specific things in our business. And we had planned to do a more hands-on session today, but because of the need, sometimes we will switch it up when people are asking for something very specific. And so we have some service-based businesses that are asking questions. And, when everybody's asking, we try to answer those questions with an episode that will help them to do the things that are needed in their business. So today we're going to be talking about productizing our services. And how many of you all have ever heard that term? Productize. Well, I know that if you've heard it, I want you to put your thumb up or, let us know that is something that you've heard of before. But if not, you're in for a ride, okay? Because there's information that we're going to share today that we believe will help you to not only do business better, but to think about your business from a different perspective. If you are a service-based business, there are many people that are service-based businesses, and because of that, they have a real difficult time with the concepts of productizing their services. And so we are, really understanding that it's so important for people to learn certain concepts when they are in business so that they have better ways of doing business, better ways of increasing their growth potential. And productization is something that is not a new concept. It's something that has been brought to us. Many of us are aware of it, through the value builder system. And so if you have ever been a part of some of our previous Q4 Summit, our Q1 Summit, our previous events, we're always talking about Value Builder because we are certified Value Builder business advisors here over at Red, and we provide everything through that lens. We look at our businesses through the lens of value, not just what value we provide to others, but what is the value of our company? Will our company be around to service people for the longevity? Do we have dependency issues that we need to fix so that we're not in a position where our company is not able to serve people effectively because everything is dependent on a key employee or a key customer, or for that matter, a key supplier? Are we in the owner's trap? These are all kinds of questions that we answer, and we answer them by helping people to, really look at their business from the 8 drivers of business value and helping them to pull out, some very good tools that they can use to make their companies more valuable in a sale, or even if they're going to pass it down one day to the next level of managers or their children, they still need to have a valuable business. And when you see your business as an asset, you want to increase the value. You want to improve in areas that you can to help get that value out of your company that you deserve and desire. And so today we're talking to service-based industry people and people who are maybe in a retail or in some other industry. This is also good for you because you need to understand this concept, because you may have services that you're going to one day start to provide. I often talk about the model as we look at different types of models of making sure we are able to offer the recurring revenue and to again improve our value or increase our value. We look at these different kinds of industry models. And one of the ones that we have done case studies on, and we talked about it frequently, is the alarm company, ADT. We've talked about how they started off, selling a product, and that product was an alarm system. However, they made their company tremendously valuable when they added alarm monitoring the service, because now that meant that they could get a service fee every single month. And it turned their reoccurring revenue into recurring revenue, because people who were acquiring the alarm systems needed someone to provide the monitoring. And that became a much more valuable thought process for many people who were in that industry. And so when we look at the concept of a service, we want to be thinking about it from the standpoint of, what do I have that I can provide to people that will make sense across the board? And so here we see the the provider's dilemma. And I want to, bring this out because I think it's so, so important for people to understand that services are provided by people. And when we are looking at a person who is in the service provider's dilemma, what this is that, humans, vary in their experiences, and customers want the best. Therefore, many people who are in service-based businesses have customers who want them. And sometimes they want only them. And that becomes a real conundrum for, someone who is, they only have one of them providing services, or is a very small team, especially. And because customers demand you, they look at your experience, they look at your LinkedIn profile, they're looking, in my case, in my office, I have a lot of my receipts or my certificates on the wall behind me while I'm coaching or while I'm working with clients. And so they're looking at all that, and they look you up. They see you on Instagram. They see you on Facebook. They're trying to fact check you to make sure that who you say you are is who you are. And when they do this, this leads them to expecting your attention. They don't necessarily want, the other person in the office, okay? Or the other couple of people in the office. They want you. And so for that reason, when you're thinking about it, when people are doing all of this checking, it really does elongate a sale. I mean, it takes time for them to figure out if you're real, to check and see if you have a website, look at what's on your website. And then based on what they see there, they go and try to find out if they can verify or qualify or certify, that you are going to do what you said you're going to do. And again, they're human, and because the quality, varies, and a lot of time they have this concept that the service is tied to, it's something that's being delivered by a person, and if it weren't, it would be a product, right? Okay. And so the person delivering the service gets evaluated, and when they get evaluated, many times it creates, a problem for the company, because there's a cap on paying for time. In someone's mind, they already have, what it is that your time should be worth already in their mind based on what somebody else's time is worth. They're looking around and seeing all these other companies and saying, well, in these companies, this only costs this amount, and over here it costs more. So it's hard to charge what you're worth, because there's a cap on what somebody might pay for someone's time. We have a visual, in our mind based on what we see, from other companies. Okay. And so when we see this, it's like, well, I'm going to pay this tax person this amount because it only costs $59 over here at this place. It really is an interesting conundrum. And we have this visceral negative reaction when someone orally describes what they charge per hour. It's often that thing that's in a person, not because of the fact that they feel like you're not qualified, but it's designed, the system, the industry, the society that we live in, they really do help people to get this kind of thought process based on what service-based businesses do, across the board. And so when someone writes, it can be less egregious, but at the end of the day, they're really still looking at, what it is that you do for your time. And then what ends up happening is when they do hire you, sometimes the customers feel nickel and dimed when they have to pay for the different add-ons, or if it's something where they asked for something else that was not in the original uh, package per se, and you give them the price point or your price sheet, it becomes a real issue sometimes, because they feel like they're having to pay for every little thing, or they often feel that they're being taken advantage of, when they have their card out, right? Okay, and then you feel taken advantage of if you don't ask, and they expect that you're doing certain things. So I want to really have you pay attention to the fact that this is a very negative cash flow cycle, that gets to be in your business. And if you don't do something about it, what ends up happening is that you end up not being able to take advantage of, the hard work that you put in to learn what you know and to be able to provide the service you provide. Services have a negative cash flow cycle, a lot of times. And it's because you typically have to provide the service before you can charge for it, meaning that the faster you grow, the less cash you have. And I'll give you an example: window cleaning or accounting. When you're doing accounting work for someone, the person comes and they ask me for a cash flow statement or their balance sheet. I provide that to them, and then they pay. We sometimes have to chase payments, and that because of the services that we offer in one of our company, people are expecting to get the service before they pay, because of the fact that other places where they go, they don't pay up front. So we started off in making this a habit, and unfortunately it does become a negative cash flow cycle, because some people, we chase them 60 days, 90 days, 120 days before they actually pay for the service that has already been provided. So this is it becomes a real big problem if you run your business this way for the long term, versus when you have a product where you have to pay first and then you receive the product. We're socialized to buy products with cash up front. But services, we're socialized to buy them with the service provided, and then we pay. And so this is something, that we have to really kind of get past, because if we don't get past it, then what happens is that people, get it in their mind that hourly billing is the way, for service-based business. But hourly billing puts a hard cap on the growth potential. And when you are looking at it from that standpoint, it really does eliminate your leverage in your business model. We have a limited amount of hours during our day. We can only work so many of them. And I have found myself in many times when I've had service-based businesses working 16 hours, 18 hours. Sometimes the time value money concept is just totally skewed, because the item itself that I'm working to provide to a client, may take me a lot longer. And because I'll provide it to them, they look at it and they'll feel like, okay, well, this is only 5 pages long. So it should have taken you only, an hour or two to do it, without them realizing the amount of research that may have needed to go into it, or for that matter, the formatting or whatever, So when you're looking at service-based businesses and you start talking about hourly billing, it is never going to terminate into something that actually does give you what what you need to have. So as we're looking at this, I want you to be thinking about these drill bits here. And let's kind of take a look at this. We're still buying problems that solve a specific problem, right? Products that solve a specific problem. The marketers who are winning today are laser focused on solving a particular problem, an immediate problem. And Harvard professor Theodore Levitt's famous quote is now more true than ever. Okay. I want to, put this out here because I want you to understand people don't want to buy a 1/4 inch drill. They want a 1/4 inch hole. And so when you're thinking about that, think about this in that way. You see these drill bits here and you think of, okay, what could that mean if I'm selling them a 1/4 inch hole? I'm providing the service that makes the whole, right? Businesses are buying Zoom for teleconferencing. Why? Because Zoom provides them with a solution to a problem. In the pandemic, we couldn't get to our customers, a lot of us. And so based on that, we went online and we never had to leave our living rooms. We could create the background that we needed to make it more private. And we went on with life. A lot of us who were able to transition, we created a whole company. I take the back, not a whole company, but a whole solution in our company called Virtualocity 101 that helped to get people into the virtual space. And so, interestingly enough, when we help people to understand that the virtual world, and how the virtual world works, really can allow you to continue to provide the same service that you might have been providing before. You just have to think differently about it so that you can position yourself in a way that helps people to understand the what it is that you're doing. And so we want you to be thinking about this because it's very important that if you are in a service-based business, you are able to see it from the standpoint of the solution that you're bringing. Slack, some of you guys are familiar with Slack. It's a collaboration tool, an online collaboration tool, and it brought another very interesting solution to business owners, the ability for them to communicate with their teams across the internet when, everyone was working in an environment where they might have been in a different office or in their homes. Slack made it so that people could stay connected. Consumers are dropping personal products and personal services in favor of products. They're looking for solutions that are all inclusive. And so what is it that this drill is solving for a customer? It's making a whole. Okay. And if you can be there to be the person that's wielding that drill, okay, then you might be able to get the sale, okay, rather than a person going down to Home Depot and buying the set of drill bit and the drill themselves. Okay. And I know that some of you guys might be looking at this from the standpoint that there are many people that are interested in doing the DIY method, but I'm just telling you that because of time, there are few people who are out here saying, you know what, don't want to do that anymore. So let's kind of look at it from this standpoint of, I want you to take a look at this duct cleaning company. And, we're big on case studies over here at Red Worldwide. We love case studies because it helps people to see what really is happening. So from one of the business owner case studies, that we have over in the Value Builder system, and we want you to gain access to it. This is their website. airfreeductcleaning.com. Okay, that's what we're looking at right now. Even in an industry like duct cleaning, it's possible to productize a service. And rather than only providing air duct cleaning, owners, BJ and John, they recognize other needs that were in homes. And so they created product offerings for dryer vent cleaning and laundry room inspections, things that were likely, they were already doing, but they turned them into products instead of having people see them as services. Rather than charging them by the hour, they created something very different. So they have their duct cleaning process, right? We clean everything that heats, cools, and distributes air through your home. We clean all supply vents, return vents, ductwork, and all indoor equipment, including the fan and fan compartment. Our source removal cleaning methods utilize high velocity vacuums, which draw the dirt and debris out. And while the interior of the duct is clean with high pressure airlines, specialized nozzles, tools, whip systems, and brushes, national standards are strictly followed. Now, this, yes, is a service. And these are, there I don't know how many hours it takes to do it, but they turn this into a product. So when people order it, there's a price that they pay for the product. They're not paying for the hours, they're paying for the product. Are the hours factored in by the owners? Absolutely, they are. However, the thing is that they're able to sell this better because someone is not nickeling and diming them on hourly pricing. Instead, they're looking at what they get for the value, what they're paying, the amount of money that they're paying. They look at all of the features and benefits for that particular product. It's like looking at the ingredients list on the back of, some type of a food item, or for that matter, looking at the packaging and seeing what's included when you're ordering something online at Amazon. This really does change things for a service-based business when you're able to productize your services. And instead of having people look at how much time it takes or the person that's providing the service, they're looking at the product itself and what it is that it's going to provide them, the solution it provides to the problem that they have. Okay, and so here we have three of these that are here. And even, when these people were, I'm sure, looking at how they were going to do it, their product offerings and descriptions for each thing were included in their mindset. Taking an hourly billing service to make it look like a thing or a product really moves a person from selling time by the hour and moving them from that, it moves them to selling a thing. Now, I want you to think about that because that is a really important concept, for you to be able to move yourself from selling your time to selling a thing. Okay, well, why would you want to productize your service? So let's talk about that. What would be the importance of doing that? Well, when you productize your service, it's less reliant on you. Okay, anybody can provide it. When you're selling a person the concept of a product and the features and benefits in the product, they don't look at so much the person that's providing it. They look at the benefits and that they're going to get, the solution that it brings. When you go to purchase a particular service and you're able to understand that you're going to get the same quality of service no matter who provides the service at a particular company, it does really change your thought process about what it is that you're buying. Okay, so it's really less reliant on you selling a product versus selling a person. There's no background checks. If they're looking at it, they're looking at your website and they're seeing that it's a person that's providing it, now they want to dig all in. But if they see that this is the service that you provide and that there may be many people in your company that can provide the same service, it makes people more confident about what it is that they're buying. It shortens your sales cycle because when you have a product versus a service, it equals a set of features, right? And sometimes testimonials or endorsements, can help because people can say, hey, I bought this product and this is what I was able to gain from it. Now, sure, sometimes I've had it happen where people will get on online on Google and talk about Patience and Howard are great. I get that a lot because we might have been the person that provided the service. But when they can say everybody at Red Worldwide was so helpful, the service that I purchased was exactly what I needed and it was delivered in a high quality way, that helps people to say, oh, wow, I want to get that same product. Not, oh, wow, I need to get to Patience, or I need to get to Howard, or I need to get to Javon or whoever else might be providing a service, or Kevin or whatever. So, understanding that it's so important for you to be able to shorten the sales cycle, helping people see the set of features, look at the testimonials, and then give them the opportunity to make a decision. The product gets evaluated and not you as a person when you sell the service as a product, okay? And something else you might want to understand is that it creates leverage in your business model, because now, again, you're not having to leverage the person, you're leveraging the service, right? It makes clients happy. People hate buying a service with a never-ending time frame, and when you provide them the service in such a way that they understand that it is a service and there might be a process, but they're not buying time, right? When you productize, you're forced to say exactly what they're going to get, okay? What set of features they will receive, and the price point that they're going to play. And so they have or pay. They're going to have a sense of clarity and transparency about what they purchased. And you want to think about the fact that there's a positive cash flow cycle. And because when a person pays up front, then now you have all the money to be able to provide the service. Products are bought in advance, right? And that is something that, for a service-based business, it changes everything with regards to your time value money, okay? Because now you're in a situation where you're not, chasing the check, okay, or chasing the payment, from the client after the service has been provided. Okay, so stop selling time. I mean, I really want you to think about this. Stop selling time and selling by the hour, or selling by the day. It's just not ideal. It does not help you run a company that is efficient, and one that actually can grow. So let's take a look at a couple of other things here. When we're talking about this. Because it's really important for you to understand that there are some steps that you can take to prioritize this concept of productizing your service. And so, how do you perform, in this way? What is it that you do? How do you transform your service business into a product company? There are unique things that you can do, and I want us to really dig into this. There's sequential things. I mean, step one, step two, step three. And so I want you to kind of take a look with me at what these things are specifically. So the first thing is that you want to niche down. This concept of niching down is one that I have talked about, to some of the clients before. And so let's kind of look at what this looks like. So step one, when we're niching down, we want to be really attending this thought process, from the standpoint of design. So a lot of people feel uncomfortable with this step in a particular time, in particular in times when, we need a lot more customers, right? And not less customers. So, sometimes people, when we start talking about this, they feel like, oh my gosh, how am I going to be able to do that? Well, it's counterintuitive, but the first critical step in productizing is really finding out which customers you want to sell to. Niching down, because services can be adapted and customized for a variety of customers, whereas products need to fit one type of customer. And I'm going to tell you that although in your mind you're thinking I can sell to a lot more people if I don't do this, but I am saying that if you have something that's for a specific person, many people will send people to you because they know that you provide that service for this kind of people. And it puts you in a situation where sometimes you might be, in the market, the only particular person in your industry, in your town, that does that service for that group. And what does that mean? That means that niche, that particular group is coming to you, okay? Even though they might be able to find the same service, okay, two towns over, provided by maybe a larger vendor, they see that this is all you do, then they're coming there. Okay. And so we have had to niche down. We had lots and lots and lots of things that we provided when we started for business owners. And we really realized our key thing that we were providing that helped people more than any of the other things that we were doing, you know, was the thing we needed to do. And we need to do it most. And so what we ended up doing is we created relationships with other companies that did the other stuff, and we're still able to refer people over there and or have relationships that people can buy these things kind of off the shelf, you know, from our website or, you know, from one of our marketplaces. But the things that we actually provide are what we are concentrating on right now, because we are a service-based business, and it's important for us to productize those services. So when people go to our website, they'll see all these little boxes. And what are those boxes? Those boxes were our way of productizing the things that we did. We turned them into courses, and we turned everything into a course. And I do mean everything. Even website building became a course, you know, and the reason why we did it that way is because we found that we were able to serve people better by teaching them what it was that they were doing or getting and teaching them how to use it. And that's what we sold. We sold the instruction manual. And so we might be providing the service alongside of the instruction manual, but they bought the instruction manual. That's what they're paying for. They're paying for the education. And even though they might get the actual free alarm system, okay, they're getting the instructions on how to use the alarm system and how to maximize the use of the alarm system, how to optimize their business with the alarm system, how to take and make this alarm system, you know, create for them the safety that they needed in their company and the security that they needed in their company, and how to make sure that nothing ever happens with the alarm system that they can't handle from their level, you know. And if there is something that's needed that where tech has to come out, then here we go. They can actually get the tech out there, and they'll know when to call a tech out and when it's something that they can handle. So I use that alarm system as our example. Of course, we don't sell alarm systems, but we do sell other, you know, we have other tools that we have for businesses. And by selling the education for how to use those tools, it makes people, you know, more efficient, and they can provide better business. And sometimes it increases their bottom line because of some of the things that they're learning through our courses. So, you know, even though it's counterintuitive, the first critical step that you need to do is really find out who your target market is and really provide the service to that person. So I'm not saying that you don't sell to other people, but if you niche down and do things in a way where you're focused in on this particular person in your industry that you want to provide your service to, it makes you the go-to person, and you can have more monopoly control, you know, in your market, because now you are, you know, you have the ability to become the number one person that provides this service to that particular person in your industry. You know, homogeneity and pain points for, you know, the target niche and customer base is really an important thing. And so I want you to understand that when you are able to customize a variety of products for a specific customer, okay, and really provide that to that customer, then it does make you more valuable in what it is that you do. Pick one niche, you know, pick one niche, okay? Just say, pick one niche, okay? And so seek to serve that particular niche. It helps you to design a great product when you're able to do that, which makes you referable to others. You know, when someone says, man, I've been looking for someone who could help me create my nonprofit and help me learn how to make it sustainable. I know for a fact that we have gotten probably 1 to 3 of those a week, you know, at different times during the year, because we are referable in that area. People refer us out because they know that that's an area where we specialize. So for that reason, you know, we get those clients because we niched down on that particular thing. You know, who couldn't benefit from a little free advertising, okay, by having people become a sales team who are able to refer you for specific things. Picking one niche also helps you to efficiently reach your potential customers through things like Facebook groups or, Instagram groups, or being able to, have these wonderful Instagram stories, TikTok, and Twitter or X, or I guess that's what it's called, LinkedIn. You're able to use these tools, and you can really, bring a lot of attention to yourself when you are in a position where you have niched down. So I just want to share that because it's really important for you to consider. Consider the demographics, the age, the gender, the income of the people that you're wanting to serve. Consider the firmographics, in other words, the company size or industry, if you're doing business to business, right? Consider the life stage of the person that you want to serve. Are they just married? Are they in retirement? Consider the company life stage. Are they a startup? Are they mature if you're serving businesses? Consider the psychographics, right? I love this because, it's something that a lot of people are not thinking about, who it is that I've really been designed to serve. And when you niche down, you can really look at this from a different perspective. This gentleman, Jason Swink, he is a consultant who works with the advertising agencies. He developed a digital agency owner mastermind. Okay. And so who knew there was a thing, but there is a thing, digital agency elite is not for everyone. That's what he says. The collaborative digital agency elite mastermind is filled with other motivated agency owners that are cool, fun, and willing to share their knowledge and wisdom to help catapult you to the next level. Okay. Request your invite. So this is his sales tool on his landing page, and it's designed to help people understand that he is not trying to have everybody in his mastermind. He has niched down from a marketing agency owner all the way down to digital advertising agency owners. So it's not, he doesn't want every person in his mastermind. He only really is looking for people who run digital agencies, period. And he was able to find a common set of pain points among these group members to bring them all together so they could work together and pay for his mastermind. Now, this is something that you got to be thinking about, because when you set things up in such a way, people will pay when they know that they're going to be the only ones that are going to be a part of that particular group. Okay, so this is really important for you to understand how this works. All right, so step 2, discover your teachable, valuable, and repeatable solution, your TVR. This is very, very important. Okay, you have to be able to have a system that you can teach to other people. Remember how I talked about at the beginning of this, when we were looking at the step 1, that you needed to have, something that was focused on a particular group, but equally as important, you need to be able to have everybody in your team serve that group. So you have to discover what is teachable, valuable, and repeatable in your company's process. You got to niche down more to make sure that you're comfortable, but you got to also identify the services that you're going to provide to that niche, okay, that will really be most important, to make sure that they see the value, okay, of what it is they've paid for. So that might mean that you have to grab a whiteboard. You see how our guy here has a whiteboard with some post-it notes? You may need to do it this way. Some of you guys have those wonderful smart boards, which are like televisions that you can put things up on the wall. Other times you might have, maybe a whiteboard that you can actually use markers to write on. But you got to create something on a piece of paper, or even if you are using free what is it called, inside of the Mac, we have, and I use it a lot, Freeform, to do the same thing. I put up little, squares and circles and triangles on my Freeform board, to help me understand the list of services that I'm going to offer in this niche that I have niched down to. And then the way that I've become able to do it, if we learn this in Value Builder, by the way, that I score each service, on a scale of 0 to 10, to the degree to which I can teach my employees to offer that service. How valuable is it to my niche, and how frequently have they had a need to purchase it? This helped us to get to some of the things that we're doing now, because some of the other things we were doing weren't things that people were asking as much for. And we had to really pivot in the market where the need was. And in our pivoting to that particular need, I had to learn which particular thing that I'm offering can I teach other people to do. And if it's not something I can teach other people to do, is this something that's essential to my niche? All right. And so if it is, then I need to bring in somebody that can help me, teach the people that are working with me how to provide that service to the people that we're providing it to. I've sent some of our contractors to school. They've learned, they've gone to class so that they can get some skills to be able to coach the teams that we are working with, the members that are coming to us, their employees. Sometimes they're even sending to us so that they can learn what it is that we're teaching. And so it's very, very, very important that people on your team actually are able to provide the same quality and level of service that you're able to provide. And by discovering your teachable, valuable, and repeatable solution, it helps you to make sure that that happens. Pick the service that scores the highest and move it to step 3, because in step 3, we are able to really, see how we can push this thing out there. So it's teachable to employees, valuable to customers, repeatable in our purchase cadence, and it has the ability for us to provide to our customers something that really is going to bring us a mutual benefit. We'll be able to have the longer customer lifetime value, and it provides more financial performance for us. So let's kind of look at the growth potential for photography services, because I think this will really help you understand. So as you can see in the left column, a photographer can focus on weddings, football, or school photos, right? Okay. They can looking at the weddings here, they've got, as far as being teachable, weddings have a total score for the teachable, valuable, repeatable, the TVR of 16. Football has 21, and corporate events 18. So it might mean for a person who's in photography services that it might be something to look at. Maybe they want to think about, okay, maybe we should be really focusing on photography services to football teams, and or for that matter, school football, teams, not just, any football team. It may not be the people who are out there, in the leagues for children. That might not be a big deal in this industry, or it might be. And so it's something that you have to consider. I know that there are some people who want to focus on corporate events because it might be something something else that they get out of it, or they might have thought that was the most important thing. But, and looking at something that's repeatable, it has a repeatable cadence, you can do corporate events and football over and over and over again. So that might make it more valuable than weddings. And I know a lot of people who get started in photography, and the first thing they think about is weddings, but they don't think about, again, the repeatable cadence, right? Is this something that's going to bring me value over time by the amount of these that I can do? So, we got to look at how they score on the TVR scale. And when we see that, understanding that it may be something that, you want to think about. Now, after we've looked at all 3 of these, when we add school photos, it's a no-brainer, because school photos are teachable at 9 on the scale, valuable at 9 on the scale, and repeatable at 9 on the scale. Why is that? Well, of course, we know that everybody's going to, constantly be needing someone to photograph their kids at school, even if they're only providing those photos to them on a disc or in a download. It's still a very highly sought after thing. And so when you're thinking about this service, the packages, this is one of the most identifiable industries in this model, right? Because, I can think about all the times that my kids came home with the option for me to purchase a package, someone who turned the service of taking a picture into an actual product. They had different size packages and of course, being the parents that we are, we're going to purchase. Why? Because we want to be able to see our kids in this light. We want to be able to recapture the moment of them being this age. So, it's something that you want to be thinking about as you teach young photographers how to shoot, the formulaic school photo. You're thinking about the fact that this will constantly keep me with people that can provide this service at the level I provide it, right? The principal value that you bring to a company, or as I should say, a school, when you have quality photos is always going to make your company more valuable, and I can think of a company right now. If I threw out the name, it's probably going to be the same company across the country in every school that has been providing most of the photographs over years. Why? Because they have a product and not a service that they're selling for time. And people are used to purchasing those packages from them. Principals value the school photography, and they pivoted in the industry. When everything went online, they were already there. They actually said, hey, you can buy, all of the photos, in a download for X, or you can buy 10 of the actual poses in the download, and so it just really made sense. Parents want to purchase the school photography photos every single year because they want to see how their child is growing and what they looked like in fourth grade and what they looked like in fifth grade. And so having these services turn into a product is really something that is a very repeatable model, right? And most photographers don't run valuable businesses because they're highly dependent on the owner. And when you think about where you can really extend in a photography business is making sure that everybody knows how to provide the same set of photo type services. In other words, they can run the camera. They can, also, be support. They may also be able to, edit the pictures, and so having it such that everybody in your company can do everything could, help you a lot if you are, trying to run a company that can serve the niche, but serve more of the niche. And so there's a wonderful company for you to take a look at, www.schoolphotographs.co.uk. And this is the school photography company, and they have grown into a valuable business producing photos across England. Okay, and so that's a case study that I want you to kind of utilize and go check them out. Again, that's schoolphotographs.co.uk. Okay, check them out because I think it's something that you might learn by taking a look at their model. And so we want you to plot your products and services because we want to see the growth potential is in the top right hand corner, right? And there's certain things that you'll be able to see that about this. So you can see the choices on this graph, football teams, corporate events, weddings. Okay, weddings are not repeatable. So, we just don't see the growth potential for the company by using that. And when you're looking from the standpoint of football photograph, it is teachable, but there are few teams, there are fewer teams than classes in schools. So it's not as valuable as the school photos, right? Corporate bigwigs will pay good money to look good. but each corporate event is different. So it's not really teachable. It takes a long time to actually teach somebody how to use the uh, camera, for corporate events, and because they have so many different types. And so you don't want to spend too much time there if it's going to be something that you have to teach to a lot of people and you don't have enough of the events to have a training ground. All right, weddings are teachable and valuable, but there's not much repeat business. You know, unless you're really out there, it's really hard for you to be the person that gets that business at the top of the market. Okay. All right. So let's look at step 3. All right. Be clear on your quarter inch hole. And this is very important because a lot of times people, they are not clear on what it is that they provide. And so other people are not clear on it either. So you've got to be able to be clear on the problem that you solve for the niche. We have this aquatic veterinarian services. They provide care for pet fish in California and Nevada. And so they didn't say we charge by the hour. They said we help sick fish, and they made it clear, right? Um, uh, Podreacher, offers, content, um, you know, uh, creation for marketers who want to squeeze more content out of podcasts. Air-free duck cleaning. This is a wonderful thing. Back to the air-free duct cleaning. They offer services for owners who care about the air quality of their home. So, they've branded it. They, their services in such a way that people understand what they do. With a service, you're typically hiring a person, but with a product, you're selling a thing. So you got to have the brand, support what it is that you're doing. The logo and the branding looks identical, every single time. People will be able to recognize you. They are not looking for you and not able to understand what you are or what you do, because you have so many different ways of showing yourself in the industry. Productizing your services means that you're going from personal branding to a product brand. So, people have, reputations, products have brands. And this is really important for you to think about, okay? Normally, the UI and UX services typically charge by the hour or time. You see this $75 an hour, $85 an hour. But Jane Portman is a user experience consultant, and her company niched down to focusing on owners of small software as a service businesses, SaaS. You might have heard that term before. And so basically, she developed the UI audit, the user interface audit, a product which packages her user experience consulting in a way that people are able to see what it is that they will be able to get, as a thing and not as a service. And so you see, how she's, shows this packaging here so that people understand the brand more than they do, the person behind the brand. Okay. Here's another one that I want you to pay attention to, the step 5, list your ingredients. Remember how I talked about when you look on the back of a package, you see ingredients, the ingredients list? Well, interestingly enough, over here, when we're looking at Spiffy Wash and Detail, they have their ingredients, what it is that they're offering for the $59 to $69 service. It's the Spiffy Car Wash, right? Excellent starting point for drivers who need that car refreshed from the inside out, exterior and interior. Okay. Then the Spiffy and Shine. That's another $89 or $109 service. Okay. Spiffy Car Wash plus hand polished car wash, wax. Okay. And so you look at these particular ingredients that are in the actual product that they have, and you see the importance of, the value being shown. So understanding that people need to be able to see what it is that you are offering them. Even though they're essentially just selling a service here, they've made it appear to be a product, and they list their ingredients in each of their offerings. Let's look here, data stories, another one. It's a data analytics company. Most data consulting companies charge by the project hour or day, but this particular company, they took the service and made it look like a thing. They listed each feature within the product, which is an important component, and making a service look like a feature. And so here, people get excited because they can see all of the value that they get. All of the value that they get. So when you're putting your company together, you want them to be able to see everything that they're going to offer. When they see all this stuff on there and they see that it only costs this amount for them to get this whole litany of things, I guarantee you, people are more, they see that as, wow, this is a lot for this amount. And so it makes it something that they want to participate in because of the fact that they can see the value for their money. Now, step 6, pre-empt objections. In other words, you're going to find out the things that potentially could be an objection, and you're going to solve those things before people even speak it out of their mouth, by placing something on your packaging or on your website that actually answers all of the questions that they might have, and the reasons why they might not want to use it because they couldn't figure out how this particular part of the product would solve the problem. So, when you're selling a service, you have the luxury of hearing your prospects' objections firsthand, and you can dynamically address them. But when you're selling a problem, you don't have that as a benefit, so what you can do is to overcome objections. You can actually consider what the potential objections are, and then you just preempt them. Looking here on the spiffy, website, they say 100% satisfaction guarantee. In other words, if you're not satisfied, they'll make it right. They also say they're fully insured and bonded. So if something happens to your vehicle at their premises, they have $1 million auto liability policy that covers whatever happened. Okay. Highly trained technicians. That solves the problem of who's going to be doing this work. Right? Employees are fully background checked and have at least 100 hours of professional training. So this gives you the understanding that the person who's going to be working with you is someone who is qualified to do the work. And then lastly, they're environmentally friendly. Some people are concerned about what is being used on their vehicle. Well, all of our services are completed on a reclaimed mat, leaving no trace of water, soap, or oil. That's a really important thing for some people, and the fact that they say environmentally friendly lets you know that whatever it is that they're putting on your car is something that is environmentally friendly. So that answers a lot of the questions that somebody might have about, what or objections somebody might have about using this service. Okay, so step 7, publish your pricing. It's really important for people to understand what they're going to have to pay. And I've had that as an issue, many times because someone could not, see the pricing. They felt kind of, they second guessed, well, if you're not even confident about what it is that you should pay, why should I even use you? Okay. So it's something that you've got to be thinking about. It services are quoted by the hour, day, or project, and they usually come in a quote or some sort of a, the published offer. But when you have your product out there, it's published, the price doesn't change, and it doesn't leave the customer wondering what it is that they're paying for. So make sure that you understand how you can publish your pricing and making it such that people can see $25 fish plus $300 initial service fee, plus mileage. So they understood that if I'm coming to see about your fish, then I'm giving them a physical exam. It's going to at least cost $25 and $300 for the initial service fee, and I'm going to charge you for the mileage, okay? Because I'm giving you this particular physical exam. But if I'm doing a telehealth, it's going to be $75, and it's out there. You can see it, something that is really visible, okay? Here we're looking at Scribe online. And with them, you are able to see upfront, just simply stating starting a consultancy. This gentleman here, Arthur, the author, Tucker Max, productized his insight into book in a box. Okay, that's what he calls it, right? And this is a situation in which he is able to have a repeatable process for developing a book. His company was renamed Scribed, and you can see how they price their service by making it look like more like a product. Okay, publishing is $10,000. Guided author $15,000. Scribe professional $36,000, and then if you want him to ghostwrite, it's a custom quote. And then at each one of these things, if you can see down here, if you were looking at the whole website, you would see what you would get for that price. That is so straightforward. It doesn't leave people wondering about what it is that is going to be done. They can see it, all up front, and they can make a better, choice by knowing, what the possibilities are. Like any good productized services, they branded it and priced it using fixed pricing. Here's another one, bench. Okay. And, so here's one of these. Matter of fact, I know somebody that uses them, and it is something for them that they, feel more comfortable about, because they're paying, and they know that if they pay annually, they're only paying $115 a month, but they also can see what it is that they get, for that. So this is a very good company, and they're doing, some amazing work in the accounting industry, and they're able to, really show what it's going to cost right up front. Okay, so lastly, step 8, manufacture scarcity. Okay, you want people to feel like, they need to do it today. Okay. And I often will say this: when your presence is where your value increases, when people know that you are not going to be available for everyone, you have a specific amount of people that your company can serve, and so they need to get in now. I love this. Would you like to connect with like-minded agency owners that emphasize with you, but have different views to help you scale your agency faster? Right? So they have this request and invite. They don't have a, get it today. No, in order for you to do this, you're going to have to be invited. This is not something where you can, we're going to always be here. We're accepting everybody. We're not accepting everybody. We're only accepting people that are part of our niche. So Jason Swank, again, he uses the invite-only approach to his mastermind. And it's desired to make sure people understand that he's rare. And because he's rare, they need to take advantage of him, while they can. Okay. All right. So let's go back and look at, restate the 8 steps for turning your service into a product. I'm sorry, not a problem, a product. You have to niche down. Remember that, because by niching down, you actually are able to provide a service to a specific customer. And in that way, you become the expert in that area, and people will makes you more referable. People love to be able to use, the expert in this particular thing. You need to discover your teachable, valuable, repeatable solution, your TBR. What is it that you have that you can teach to your employees so that you can provide the service to more people, because you have more people providing the service? It's valuable to your customer, and it's a repeatable process for you to get paid more, right? Be clear on your quarter-inch hole. What is the thing that you're providing, and to whom, is it most important? Okay, and what are those things that the solution that your customer is really looking for in that quarter-inch hole? Brand it. Make sure that it's a branded product and not branding you as a person, because again, it makes it more valuable when they can see the product itself and what it offers to them. Okay, list your ingredients. What am I getting for this amount that I'm paying? And I mean, what's the value, the benefit, the features in it, that I'm able to say, I actually really do, ascribe to this because of the fact that I know what it's worth. Preempt your objections. Make sure that you have, answers to those questions posted somewhere, so that they can see it on the product packaging or on your website, the service that you are bringing to them. You're able to answer all of their questions up front, right there in their face before they ask. Okay. And then publish your pricing so that people can understand what they're paying for what it is that they get. And manufacture scarcity. Make sure they understand that, you're not always available to everyone. You only serve a certain key group, and you get to choose, okay? Because you get to know that you're being able to serve them with the excellence based on the fact that they're the right customer for you and you're the right product for them. Well, this has been Patience Rose with Co-working Live with Red Worldwide, and we have been on our Smarter Start Bootcamp, and we've been talking about productizing your services today, learning how to turn your service into a product. So I'm hopeful that you've really learned something, and send us some information. I rarely tell people to like and subscribe, but you should like and subscribe because that way you'll know when we're online and teaching things live, and when there's something new, for you to go and learn, in your learning about what it is that you want to do for your company to make it stronger in a smarter start, smarter restart, or hitting the reset button. Thank you again, and we look forward to seeing you on our weekly co-working. And please know that on Smarter Start Bootcamp, we will always be doing something every Saturday to help make your business better.